Hello, and welcome to Character Class. Today, I would like to talk to you all about making changes, being wrong, and retconning. Now, this is something that I have talked a little bit about with you all in the past. I think at least on one video, maybe a couple. I've kind of made mention of this in passing, but I like to get into the nitty gritty and dig into the meat of the issue, because one of the things that I have noticed a lot over the years, seeing people out there, game masters asking for help online, and they a lot of the time they tend to ask for help about like, I am in a point in my game where I don't know what to do next because of this, that, and the other pre-established things, like pre-established lore or situations within the world that things have been established, and now because of these established things, where the game is currently, I don't know what to do next, because anything that goes next is going to be going in a way that I don't want. In essence, they have written themselves into a corner. And the main reason that they are having trouble, at least in my opinion, the main reason that they are having trouble is that they are very resistant to the idea of making changes or admitting that they have made a mistake or that they've done something wrong. They don't want to make those changes. And I'm here to tell you it's okay. It's perfectly okay to be wrong. I've been wrong lots. And I have found admitting that I am, fallible, that I am able to make mistakes, admitting that to myself, being open to making changes in the game is fine. I have completely forgotten to write down the names of characters or forgotten what happened in a certain event because I just didn't write it down and I forgot. None of my players could remember. So I just talked with my players. We came up with, a reasonable summary of what happened in the event. Or I'm just like, okay, this person is named this now, and they have always been named this now. I'm going to write this name down. Like, these are changes to the world, admissions of being wrong that have not caused a problem for me because I simply accept it and move on. Like, it's not a big deal. We're playing a game in the end, a collaborative game where we're telling a story. And the key point to doing all of this and the goal is to make that story move forward. Anything that gets in the way of making that story move forward, either one, shouldn't be there, or two, should be able to be overcome by the party. If you have, for example, a city that is big and secure, got guards everywhere, they are going to be extremely efficient in how they do things, and your party is trying to find a way to break into this city because they have to for the story to move on. But you have created a situation where the city and the guards and the security basically are too efficient for your party to overcome. You have then created a problem that is going to stop your story. And this can be the sort of thing that again, GMs can have problems with because they don't want to change this established setting, this established city that is like so dangerous and like nobody gets in. There's no crime here because the city guards are like so efficient at rooting out crime. Like you can't smuggle anything in because they're inspecting everything at the gates. There's no back ways into this place, etc., etc. Like you have written yourself into a corner, and if you don't make changes, then your story is just going to come to a grinding halt. And you don't want that. So what do you do in this situation? Well, that is where retconning comes in. Now, retconning is kind of a dirty word among game masters. They don't like doing it. They don't like changing things. Not all of them. This is not a blanket statement, just kind of in general. I have fallen prey to this myself in the past, where I've gotten stuff down, I've written lore, and I just did not want to change it. I did not want to retcon things. I have since learned to improvise, and learning to improvise and think on my feet, make changes as necessary, and make retcons have, I believe, in my opinion, made me a better game master. Has let me run games and go with the flow a lot more. Now, when you retcon, there are a couple of ways to do it. One way to do it is to just sit down with your players and speak as game master to players and say, I need to make changes to the world. These are the changes I'm making. These are the reasons that I'm making these changes. Is everybody cool with this? And generally speaking, most people are going to be cool with it because, yeah, you're making changes. You're telling them the reasons why. And when you are retconning something, you generally are going to have a good reason why. Now, if anybody does have problems with it, that's something that you as a game master can talk to the player about and find out the reason why they have a problem with it. But for the most part, I would hope, not many people are going to have trouble with making some changes, with retconning things. That's one way to do it. There is another way to do it. And the other way to do it is to retcon it in character. And how you retcon something in character is you look at what you want to change. You ask yourself, all right, does anybody know? Like, are any of the players knowledgeable about what I'm going to be retconning? And if the answer is no, none of them are knowledgeable, if it is like secret lore that you hadn't revealed to any players yet, just change it. Because nobody knows. If it is secret lore, or if it is something that your players are knowledgeable about, what you can do in that case is either talk to them, GM to player, and say, I'm making these changes. This is what your character used to know. This is what your character will know now and will always have known. Hash things out and just let them know, make sure they're knowledgeable. Because if you are making changes to something they should know, then they should know it. Another way to do it is to have the thing that you're changing be something that, yes, this is what people say about it. Like, lots of people are saying, like, this place has this, or that place is dangerous because of this, right? And it's a pre-established thing. But you retcon it so that when your characters actually go there, they find out all those stories, well, they weren't true. They were being spread, false information. this is another way to do it in character. Because, and this is a phrase that I myself have coined, and I think it's a phrase that will help many people out there when it comes to gaming. Something to keep in mind about the world that you are running the game in. The world can be an unreliable narrator. It's not just people. The world itself can trick you. People can lie. But not only that, the world itself can lie too. Like, things can change in the world without people realizing it. Stable ground can be undercut by flowing water underground and end up suddenly what was thought to be stable ground is now a sinkhole and has all collapsed. These are little ways of doing that. And in a world that is perhaps like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, some fantasy world where magic exists, the world can change without anybody realizing it. Other planes of existence may not work the way people believe they work. They might work that way in some areas of this plane, but not necessarily all areas of this plane. There's a lot of leeway and a lot of stretch that can be gotten out of keeping in mind that the world can be an unreliable narrator. And so, to kind of sum up my thoughts, when it comes to running a game, when it comes to playing in a game, keep in mind that making changes and retconning things is not the enemy. It's not something you should be afraid of. It's not something that you should only use as a last resort. Now, I'm not saying make changes all the time. No. But I'm saying if you've got a problem and the easiest solution to the problem is to just make a change, then make a change, the problem goes away, and you can continue going. You don't need to be rigid and have everything stay exactly the same as you have written all the time, because some of the stuff that I have written for my world, I have written, it has been 6 years since I started writing it. I am a different person now than I was 6 years ago. People change over time. So when it comes to making these changes, don't be afraid. Keep your flexibility. And don't be afraid of being wrong, because we're all wrong all the time. Nobody's nerfect, as they say. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode of Character Class. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope I have been helpful in some degree with my ramblings. And I hope that going forward, you aren't as resistant to making changes and retconning things and being wrong. Until next time, please leave a like, leave a comment down in the comment section below, and tippity tap that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing, so you can be kept apprised of when I do new videos. Maybe even ring the bell. Otherwise, that's going to be it for me today, and I'll see you next time that class is in session. Bye-bye.